This is my 2015 Lamborghini Huracan. I bought it used in July of 2016 with 1,000 miles on it. Since then, I've put over 22,000 additional miles on the car. It's been an absolute joy, and so I thought I'd share every single detail of my ownership experience with the Huracan over the last year and a half. Let's go. When I first took delivery of this Huracan, I was blown away by how well it drove. For reference, my previous car before this was a 2004 Gallardo. It drives like no other Lamborghini out there. It's more nimble, the transmission is out of this world, and the all-wheel drive system doesn't make it feel like a giant pig. If you drove the Gallardo, the Murcielago, the Aventador, and then drove a Huracan, you'd be more likely to believe that this was produced by a completely different manufacturer. First, I'm going to go over the performance figures of the car, what it's like to drive, and then I'm going to go into maintenance and my experience as a whole living with this on a daily basis. So, first off, mid-engine 5.2-liter naturally aspirated V10 that makes 602 horsepower and 413 pound-feet of torque. The heart of the Lamborghini Huracan is one of the reasons why it's so special. With McLaren and Ferrari going forced induction, they both have twin turbocharged V8s, the Huracan stands alone with its naturally aspirated power plant. It sounds significantly better than both. It pops, it crackles, it's emotional, and the throttle response is instant. There's no lag of any kind because, well, it's a naturally aspirated V10. Let's get a little of that exhaust, shall we? 0 to 60 in the Huracan happens in just 2.6 seconds, and the quarter mile in 10.6. That is hypercar levels of speed in a package that's daily drivable and won't cost you $1 million. But the beauty of the Huracan isn't so much in its speed, it's the transmission and the way that it handles. Now, up until the Huracan, all the Lamborghini automated manual transmissions had single clutches. Now, they did it in the Aventador with the ISR single clutch transmission to save weight and to add drama to the experience. The problem is the drama makes you want to kill yourself when you're driving around at low speeds. And then when you're on partial throttle and you pull an upshift, it feels like the transmission was on brake, and then 2 seconds later it comes back and goes, oh yes, it's time to shift, and then it shifts into the next gear. With the 7-speed double clutch transmission in the Huracan and the Audi R8, it is an absolute blissful experience. Downshifts happen so fast you can even make a song out of it. Merry Christmas. That was the worst song ever. So there's 3 different driving modes that you activate using the Lamborghini Anima switch on the bottom of the steering wheel. We have Strada mode, which means I'm a pussy in Italian. No, it doesn't actually mean that, it means street. Now, Sport mode, the steering is stiffened, the throttle response is heightened, the shifts are faster, they're crisper. And when in automatic mode, it's actually extremely intelligent. Let's switch into automatic here. If you go into a corner fast and you brake hard, it just double downshifted for me without me having to do anything. Now, I don't ever drive around in automatic mode, but if that's something you're interested in, you can easily do it. Corsa mode has no automatic upshifting or downshifting. In fact, if you were to downshift a bunch of times on the freeway, you could blow the $92,000 motor behind you just fine if you're into that sort of thing. When you put the car in sport mode, it's in its most rear-wheel drive orientation possible. 85% of the power goes to the rear wheels and 15% to the front. That means when you turn traction control off using the ESC off toggle, you can slide the car very well. Additionally, if you press and hold the left paddle, this actually works in any mode, the car automatically downshifts until the proper gear, so you can floor it, auto upshift, and take off super fast and reliably. In Corsa, the steering tightens up yet again, and I find myself driving in this mode more than any other just because it's so much damn fun. Because it's a double clutch gearbox, you get that daily drivability, you put it back into sport, and you drive it around town like a normal car. Corsa is also the mode you have to use to activate launch control, something I've done hundreds of times with no problems. You simply put it into Corsa, you turn traction control off, you mash your left foot on the brake, your right foot on the gas, it holds it to 4,500 RPMs, boom, you take off like a rocket. Considering I just told you I've done it hundreds of times, I should probably do it right about now. We're on a nice section of curvy road right here. Let's push this thing. The amount of grip the Huracan has, and despite being a very fast and expensive car, you are so confident behind the wheel right away. This is one of the easiest, if not the easiest, to drive supercars ever created. You can seriously hop into a Huracan and feel like a beast behind the wheel within a matter of a couple hours or so. The LP610-4 comes standard with carbon ceramic brakes. They're an option on the rear wheel drive version. They certainly stop the car, wow, quite fast. 3,400 pounds, it's a light car, but Lamborghinis in general always felt big and wide on the road. This simply doesn't. You can place it wherever you want with so much accuracy. Not only do these Alcantara seats hold me in place well around turns, they're actually quite comfortable on longer road trips. For 3 to 4 hours, you have no issues whatsoever. After that, I have a history of back problems, so it becomes a little bit uncomfortable, but I have spent a 12-hour journey straight in the Huracan, and while I wasn't the most comfortable at the end, it's totally possible. I've done tons of road trips and rallies in the Huracan. I just pulled over here. Another great feature of the Huracan is its front lift system. You click one button here, super simple, and the front nose raises in a matter of seconds. This is a vehicle that's really low to the ground, so coming in and out of inclines is a concern. I haven't found a single driveway or gas station that with a bit of patience and hitting it at the right angle, I haven't been able to bring the car in. Now, on the note of patience, other people on the road have no idea what you're doing when you're going 1 mile an hour up to an incline at an angle. It's really confusing and they can't process that, hey, maybe this car is low, but you can't exactly shout, hey, I'm worried about my $15,000 front bumper out the window without getting flipped off. The instrument cluster is fully digital. It has 3 different display modes. My favorite is the full tachometer mode. You've got a giant tach with what gear you're in and then a tiny little digital speedo on the side. Press the toggle button down again, you get split screen mode. That way you can see the navigation, have information about what song is playing, what radio station you're on, etc., as well as tire pressure. Pushing and holding the button one more time yields full information display mode, which is essentially completely useless. If you're driving down the road really fast and all you have in front of you is your navigation screen, why are you driving a Lamborghini? Let's talk about visibility, shall we? In front of me is a very raked windshield. You don't have a massive viewing area, although it's much bigger than something like a Chevy Camaro. Out the side windows, you have a decent amount of visibility, but then anything behind that, good luck everybody else. Absolutely terrible, blocked by the pillars here, as well as the seat and part of the engine cover over the left shoulder. Yeah, I can't see anything at all. And I have a 1016 Industries wing on the back. I can't see anything at all out of my rear view mirror. Space is obviously a concern with driving a supercar. You notice there is no trunk in the back, but that is where the engine is. The trunk is in the front. Some people call it a frunk. The front trunk is not very good. That being said, behind me I have a large partial shelf. I put stuff back there all of the time. Most people don't talk about interior amenities when reviewing supercars. That's because, well, if you're only taking it out for the weekend, you're only driving it occasionally, they're not really all that important. It's more about the driving experience. There are going to be times where you need to work the air conditioning, you need to turn on the heated seats, you want to listen to music, so that stuff becomes important. Now, the speaker system in the Huracan is actually quite good. It's no $10,000 Burmester high-end audio system, but for a supercar, it's very nice. Something that confuses people a lot with the Huracan is the door handles. When you unlock the car, the door handles actually pop outwards. You grab those to open the door. Let's start talking about maintenance costs, shall we? Everyone is curious. Whether you're thinking about buying a Lamborghini now, you're thinking about one for the future, you're thinking about one for 3 lifetimes from now, everyone wants to know, how much does it cost to maintain a Lamborghini? I hear all the time, oh yeah, I would buy a Lamborghini, but the maintenance cost and the insurance would be too high. That's actually not true, and I'd hope if you're looking at a $250,000 car that insurance costs aren't going to be a big factor. I had my first weird maintenance mishap during Monterey Car Week in 2016. I was driving the vehicle around pretty hard in hot weather. The brake fluid had completely drained out, and I had no pedal feel, and the car wouldn't stop. To this day, the dealership, me, and Lamborghini are confused about how this happened. For $350, they did a fluid flush and they cleaned everything up. I could have reported it and probably gotten it covered under warranty, but at the time, it didn't seem like that big of a deal. The only maintenance item, so to speak, with the Huracan is oil changes. Every 9,000 miles or 1 year is recommended for the oil change interval on the Lamborghini Huracan. How much will that cost you? anywhere between $500 to $1,500 depending upon where you take it. Certain dealerships, especially if they're the only dealership in the entire state, are prone to ripping you off. So I've found taking it to an independent mechanic is a much smarter idea. And no, they can't void your warranty because you got the work done somewhere else. That's not legal. It's cost me $600 each time I've done an oil change. I've done 3 of them for a total of $1,800. One of the most costly items for Lamborghinis is replacing the clutch. Now, in an early model Gallardo, like the one I had, especially with the E-Gear, every 7 to 15,000 miles, you would need a new clutch. With the Gallardo, you can replace the clutch with a higher end one made of Kevlar. It lasts longer. That's significantly more expensive, but probably the right route. You can also replace it with the LP560F clutch, which lasts longer as well. How much would this cost? Anywhere between $7,000 to $10,000 per clutch job. That's a lot of money. So I actually had 2 of my hydraulic lines spontaneously combust while I was on the freeway. Smoke was going everywhere. I had to pull over and I caused a giant traffic jam. How much did that cost? Well, the E-Gear lines only come in packs of 5, and with install parts and everything, it was $7,000. They're made of cheap rubber that degrades over time, and it's a very common issue. Definitely something to watch out for if you're thinking about a Gallardo. The amazing part about the Huracan is its double clutch gearbox. Not only is it faster and better around town, it also requires a lot less maintenance. Now, nobody to my knowledge that hasn't built their car, done twin turbo or supercharged, has had to replace clutches in the transmission. People are guesstimating about 70 to 90,000 miles before you have to do anything related to the transmission on a Huracan. Now, that is a lot better than 5 to 15,000 miles on a Gallardo. Tires play an important role in maintenance costs of supercars as well. Low profile, wide, big diameter, soft compound tires cost a lot of money. So how much? Well, I lasted 15,000 miles on the OEM Pirelli P0s. I switched to Michelin Pilot Sport 4S's, which were phenomenal tires, and they still have plenty of tread left on them. Those cost about $1,700 for a set of 4, including mount, balance, and install on a Huracan. Now, after a few thousand miles, I got curious and I got some Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2s. Much more grip, better for the track, they degrade much quicker, but the Pilot Sport Cup 2s are the best tire I have ever driven on, and I highly recommend them if you're going to be doing any sort of track driving with your car. Now, I did have one minor hiccup, I guess it was pretty major, in the Huracan while I was out on track at Thermal. The vehicle was fully inspected, had plenty of brake pad life, went out on track. The passenger side front brake pad spontaneously crumbled and disappeared. My friends that were behind me noticed black smoke coming out of one of my wheels and was like, slow down, slow down, slow down. The second after that occurred, my brake pad wear indicator came on. It hadn't before that, but it was too late. The reason being, the brake pad is held on by a metal backing plate. When that brake pad goes bye-bye, the metal backing plate squeezes against the carbon disc. Now, carbon ceramic rotors are very expensive. Each disc costs more than $6,000. So I had to replace that disc as well as all 4 of the brake pads. I also got an oil change and a fluid flush. All in all, that adventure cost me $9,000, which, damn it. Now, this is not something that should have happened. I want to contact Brembo and talk to them about the fact that the pad failed, and honestly, I could have gotten extremely injured. Yes, I was on the track, but you're allowed to drive these cars on the track. That's what they're meant for. For those who have been following the channel for a while, thank you so much. And if you're new to the channel and you're enjoying this so far, smash that subscribe button to join the family. We got new exciting videos coming out every single day. Oh! I love that exhaust so much. I also have a 1016 Industries body kit. It's fully carbon fiber, but it's painted gloss black. But the most important thing and the best modification I've ever done on any car that I've owned is the VF Engineering Supercharger Kit. It makes 805 horsepower instead of 602. And trust me, on a 3,400 pound car, that 200 horsepower increase makes a massive difference. V-Box logged 2.3 seconds to 60 miles an hour. With some grippier tires, I honestly think it'd get into the 2 to 2.1 second range, quarter mile in under 10 seconds. That is hypercar territory, ladies and gentlemen. I've had the supercharger system on for 6,000 miles, and I haven't driven it like a grandma, to say the least. I beat on my cars pretty hard, not in a rude, abusive way, but in a, I want to drive the crap out of you because you are very expensive, you're really fun to drive, and, well, it's a damn Lamborghini, so. But the VF kit has run strong every single day, run after run, whether it's hot. I ran this thing through Death Valley, full tilt, or it's freezing cold. It doesn't matter, it's reliable and provides so much enjoyment. Speaking of enjoyment, one of the best parts about owning a Huracan is sharing it with other people. When you pass down the road, sure, there's gonna be some people who are mad for whatever reason, flip you off, yell at you, but for the people who react with the biggest smiles, jumping for joy, maybe they've never seen a Lamborghini, it's so rewarding and fun sharing this ownership experience with other people. Owning a Lamborghini enters you into this pseudo exotic car club of sorts. When you see somebody else in a Lamborghini or a Ferrari or a McLaren, you might spark up a conversation. Because that person owns that vehicle, chances are they might be super successful. The networking opportunities are insane if you own a supercar. Like-minded individuals that are driven, that are innovative, that we've worked on projects together, and it's been such a mutually beneficial relationship, both friendship-wise and financially. Overall, I've spent $12,500 in the last year and a half maintaining my Lamborghini Huracan. Is that a lot? Honestly, it's personal opinion. That's up to you to decide. I put more miles on this Huracan than almost any other person in the world. At 23,381 miles, oftentimes when I call and I ask what the next service interval is, nobody in the country has done it yet. But here's what I gotta tell you guys. This is something you can drive, and you should drive every day without fail. It's so fun. Why waste it by just letting it sit? Look at all these people taking videos. See, just random people jumping and screaming, taking video. I love it. Now, the carbon brake disc failure shouldn't have happened, so subtract about $6,500 for that. We'll call it $6,000 in a year and a half, which for the price of the car, a $250,000 car, I think the MSRP when new, this vehicle was $293K. I bought it used. You save a lot of money that way. And big whoop, somebody else puts 1,000 miles on the car. I didn't notice it. In fact, they installed a $3,000 radar detector and a clear bra. So not only did it save me the depreciation, they also added stuff to it. And then when you buy a supercar used, when you resell it, you don't have that depreciation, and you get to drive a car around for a year or two without losing all that much money. That's the beauty of it. La, 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 la. Oh my God, I love this car so much. Her name is Ellie. She's an absolute beast, and now it's her turn to talk. Now I'm gonna flip over to a point of view camera, rip it through the canyons, and show you what it's like to drive a Huracan from a first person perspective. I hope you guys enjoyed this long, comprehensive overview of my experience over the last 23,000 miles with the Huracan. It's been an incredible experience. I wouldn't trade it for the world. And I really, despite the incredible offerings out there right now, don't want to get rid of this thing at any point in time. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like always, please browse the channel and subscribe. I look forward to seeing you next video.